We have a leader who started off being a sales engineer to now being the area sales director, India and SAARC Crestron Electronics. Let's give it up for Mr. Farhan Walele. Mr. Farhan, wherever is it that you are, please come on up. A big round of applause for Mr. Farhan. Mr. Farhan, before you start, there is a question we've been wanting to ask you for the longest time. From starting off as sales engineer to now being area sales director, how does that even happen? So the question to you is in one line only, sir. What is your number one tip from going from here till here?
I think so. Just to believe in the company which you are part of, and believe in the partners.
Fantastic.
And
My
the
God.
partners includes everyone. I think the partners in terms of system integrators, architects, clients, everyone. So the entire cycle of it, entire ecosystem is where you get the growth from.
My God, spoken like a true leader. I mean, you didn't thank yourself and your dedication, but your amazing team. Fantastic, sir. Mr. Farhan, stage is all yours. Thank you so much.
So a very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you for being part of this session. As mentioned, I'm Farhan. I take care of Crestron in the West region. So just quickly to take you through in terms of what we have to offer, where we are thinking the smart home technology will go in, what is the future for Crestron in the smart home world. I'll quickly run you through this presentation. So before I get to it, a small snippet on Crestron, what we are and how we
Conference
change
rooms,
the world.
classrooms, smart homes, and places that are home to power, our products help people connect, communicate, and collaborate. Master a meeting, an opportunity, a moment. And while sometimes our solutions do nothing more than advance the proper mood, more often, they move companies, communities, and even humanity forward. And it's that innovation that fuels us. We are Crestron. We've defined and redefined the best in room automation, smart home systems, content distribution, and video conferencing technology. We never stop pushing further, creating solutions that exceed expectations, defy limitations, relentlessly committed to research and development. The result? Leading-edge products, built in factories of the future, equipped with quality assurance that replicates years of service in the service of peace of mind. What can't be replicated? The ingenuity of design teams creating solutions for customers long before a sale, and support that continues for decades afterwards. Training, education. We push these too, partnering with the industry's most ambitious professionals at Crestron Masters, so they, like us, are fueled by all the things innovation will help them do. Crestron. Innovation fuels us.
Yeah. So a quick insight in terms of the facts and figures of Crestron. So it'll take a minute probably. So we are probably the first ones to come into the home automation market long back, almost 50 years back. It started with an experiment. It went on to become the leading home automation trendsetter globally. So Crestron is synonymous to automation. So any automation brand out there definitely looks at Crestron as the world leader. And while we do so, there are some humongous facts which I want to throw at you. We actually manufacture almost like 20 billion components in a year. That's the strength of Crestron. Supporting them is 4,000 people across the globe with 90 offices and a presence in 32 countries. So that's quickly a snapshot on Crestron since we have limited time out here. So moving on to the actual topic, why or what is Crestron Home and what is the technology which we offer for the modern home. So let me start with a disclaimer here, right? So a lot of people typically relate the automation industry with something called as dimming systems, right? So the moment you do lighting control, you feel or it has been projected that you are doing automation of that particular house, right? So for us, and not only for us, the typical avenue here is smart home or automation is not just dimming. It does not start and end with just lighting control. What is automation? So automation is where you actually take or it just improves the livelihood of humans basis the inputs of humans again. So if I think the panel was mentioning, Harsh did mention that if the system is not capable of taking inputs from the customer, If you are designing a system which is going to run on its own, it does not care about the people who are part of that home, the system is not good enough. The system should be able to capable or should be capable of taking inputs. The inputs can be silly inputs. It can be, I want this window to or this shade to come down at a particular time. I want the AC to turn on at a particular time because my nose gets stuffed in the middle of the night. I want it to be turned off at a particular time. It can be any input, right? So whatever are the problem statements of the homeowner in his current house needs to be sorted in his future home. And that's where automation comes into picture. So if we don't achieve that, if we don't basically end up giving a system which is capable of improving itself, addressing those problems, the home is not smart enough. It should simplify things and not complicate things. You should not end up with a lot of products out there and the home user is not able to understand, use, reuse. There are different profiles of users out there, right? So there may be an old age person, there may be a youngster out there. So everyone has a different liking, a different way how the system should work. One system does not apply for all. All of them, every individual in a house may want the system to work in his own way. And that's where the inputs come into picture. Should constantly evolve, and that too effortlessly. Why I say effortlessly? You don't want a programmer to be there in your house every day. You want the system to evolve on its own. You need the platform to work in a way where there's an auto update which happens similar to your phones, right? The firmware gets upgraded, you don't know, and you get the latest feature sets. The same way the system should be upgradable in a way where the update has been done, but the home user does not know at the back end what has happened. He just knows what happens in the front end. He gets the latest feature sets, he gets the new features, updates, etc. So in keeping in line with these principles, we have designed a system what is called as the Crestron Home. So the Crestron Home OS is actually a simply smart system which allows you to do a lot of things. It has the most modern UI. It allows you to deploy and use very easily. It allows you to declutter all your home aesthetics, so you actually can see how I'll present this. And modern features. Why I talk about these modern features is these are not the only features it supports, but these are the features which we upgraded in the last 6 months without the home user even knowing it. So at the back end, these features have been upgraded and he can flawlessly use it in the front end. Then it allows you to, or it is highly secure. You cannot just barge in. You cannot take out data. It is as good as an enterprise grade security out there, and finally reliable. So in terms of modern UI or in terms of setup, of course, it comes in a setup in terms of the entire setup for the partner or the system integrator who is deploying this Crestron home system. He need not open his laptop and program even a single code. The entire configuration, deployment, setup, everything is done, can be done on his mobile or on his iPad, right? So you don't need to carry a laptop as a programmer, sit for days and years to configure a system. Everything happens in a jiffy on his laptop, on his iPad itself. It supports the most modern UI. The UI is absolutely amazing. There's a free download available for the Crestron Home demo. Just go to the App Store, you can download the app, and you'll realize it is the most modern UI out there. And it is ever evolving. It keeps evolving. You can keep adding tiles, you can keep deleting tiles, which means you can actually get features and functions which you want to control or you want to be part of the home. It allows you to declutter. This has been Crestron's strength. We have products which allow you to declutter a lot of things. You don't need a separate keypad for a dimming system. You don't need a separate thermostat for an AC system. You don't need a touch panel for an AV system. Everything gets integrated into a single touch panel or the user interface. Then we design products which are ergonomically designed. So this is again important, right? When you select a product for your home, you don't realize these small things, but we do. Like example, this remote what we have, it has been designed or perfected to an extent wherein the weight of the remote has been put in the back side or the bottom side. Why? Because when I'm holding the remote for a long time, I don't want to feel heaviness on the top side, which makes my arm heavy. So those are small things which Crestron puts into the design, and that's because of the expertise what we have. If you look at it, it has a D-pad or a button panel kind of a thing, which has been replicated to a Tata Sky remote, which you have been using for years, donkey's years. What does this mean? The moment you give this remote to a home owner, the next day he is comfortable with this user experience. You don't need to teach him how to use this remote. And these are small things which a lot of manufacturers overlook while designing products which are better looking, they forget the ergonomic aspect of the design, which Crestron does not. Features like light scene editing. So these features we just recently added in one of our the Crestron home system, wherein the homeowner, without calling a programmer, using his own iPad or his phone, just goes in, selects the scene, edits the entire scene. He selects the icon. He basically sets up the entire levels of the lights what he needs, and just presses the save button on his particular user interface, and the lighting scene is changed. Right? He does not need a programmer for a system integrator to walk in and do this for him. What if the homeowner goofs up? He does something which is not proper. He has goofed up. He has actually, while changing the scenes, he could not save it properly, or he has misplaced the settings of it. As a system integrator sitting at the comfort of your home, you can redeploy the golden configuration back into his house. Which means he calls you up, hey, I wanted to change this scene, but it has gone haywire. You say, okay, no worries, I'll redrop the configuration from my home itself. So it allows you that kind of flexibility, so that you are, as a partner, in control. As a home owner, he gets the best in class experience. And once he saves it in one touch panel or an iPad or his phone, it gets replicated across the user interfaces, whether it's a touch panel, iPad, or any other UI available in his house. Something which is very important in terms of secure access. So when we do this, like we have some friends who have come down from Hyderabad, right? So now someone, if he wants to have, some of your friend wants to have an access to your home in Hyderabad, you can, from sitting here, just give him the access. And you can actually give him the access with the multi-factor authentication, which is typically used in enterprises. So you send him a mail across, he signs up, he gets access to your house, he can enter your house. The moment you feel you want to lock him up, just revoke the access. The moment you revoke the access, he does not get access to his house. And all of this happens without programming again. These are all just applications built into the Crestron home, which makes your life easier, right? And it's free, by the way, it's free. So even though we have to pay to the cloud relay technologies out there, for the homeowner, it's actually absolutely free. So you don't need a static IP for this. A lot of home automation companies come back and say, I need a static IP, need a public IP, I need these ports to be opened, I need all these settings changed to be done. Nothing of that sort. It's a simple cloud relay technology what we use. So best in class again in terms of giving access to any home owner who wants to give access to it. We've added support for dashboard. These are again feature sets which have been added to the Crestron home system, as I said, effortlessly. All the other portions, lighting control, AC control, AV control, all of them are still there. I'm not just talking about it because you are an audience which I assume that you would be knowing a certain set. So dashboards are where you can actually see live the status of all the devices in your house. You can see whether they are working or not. This is like a health line or a status heartbeat indicator. It tells you whether the device is working, communicating or not. If it is not, you actually get a deadline similar to the one in the heartbeat, right? So if there's a device which is not communicating, you know that it is not communicating. You don't go to the device, try to use that device and realize that it is not working, right? Beforehand, you are aware that the device is not working and not communicating. And as a partner or as a system integrator, you get the access to all the homes what you have deployed. So if there are 10 homes where you have deployed, you get health dashboards for all the 10 houses. The homeowner, of course, gets it for his home. The system integrator gets it for all the 10, 15, 100 homes he has deployed. So for him to troubleshoot, for him to see what is not working, the dashboard is the only thing which he needs to go and relate to. You can track battery lives. Sometimes the homeowner will call you, my remote is not working. And you realize it is just changing over the batteries, right? The batteries are dead. But you have to send across a person probably from, if a system integrator is in Delhi, he sends across a person in Jaipur just to realize the batteries are not working. So this kind of things which allow you to track things. And it is again, for all this smart automation, you don't need to do anything. This is all built into the firmware of the Crestron home system. The entire remote management and a lot of other things which we are adding in this dashboard per se. Features like color tuning. Color tuning is very important, right? With now tunable whites coming in, you want the ambience to be incorporated accordingly. So we can actually set from cool to warm, whatever temperatures you want and the homeowner can do it himself. You don't need a system integrator again to do this. You just deploy and come out. You can actually use circadian lighting rhythms so that the human lighting, which is typically required to be followed in the house to have a nice health experience to the end customer, can be followed here. So we can actually support circadian lighting theorems as well as solar sync. Solar sync is a sensor which we put outside the house. So what it does is it replicates the outside light or the outside ambience inside the home. So it detects how much light is there outside. Accordingly, your home ambience, home lighting gets changed over. You can actually also set it to the circadian rhythm. You can actually set the graph of the circadian rhythm, what time of the day you want, what lighting at what level and what temperature, right? So the moment you do it, just press a save button and your lighting scene is saved. The circadian theorem is completely saved. We also do listen and to the feedback which comes in. So things like simple things like, okay, I wanted to listen to this music, but there's only one source in my room. I wanted to listen to Sonos in my bedroom. What I do is I go into audio, I go into Sonos, and then I get the Sonos music played in my bedroom. But then if there is only one source, why do I need to go into audio and I need to go into Sonos, right? I can actually just select video or audio, and the moment I do it, the same source starts playing, because I know as a system that there is only one source in the room. I don't need double click three times clicking on the same buttons and then trying to reach there. And these all feedbacks allow us to make a solid platform out of the Crestron home system. So today, the platform is 5 years evolved, say 5 years into technology, but feedback which comes from X, Y, Z, everyone sitting out here, if you tell me this is the feature which I was looking into Crestron home, we can put it in, and it allows us to not only put it in for your home, it allows us to put it for across the globe homes out there, right? So the best part about Crestron home is it is ever evolving, and it does it effortlessly. So I have, say, feedbacks coming in from left, right, center, from everyone across the globe, and that feedback is taken into consideration. The R&D sits on it, and it gets deployed as a mass deployment for all the houses out there and in the background. So the house owner, the homeowner does not even know that all these upgrades have happened. He knows only from the front row experience or the front UI. And beyond Crestron, right? Crestron is known for integration. Crestron is actually the leader of integration. We have thousands and thousands of partners, 5,000 partners out there whom we integrate with. So not only just Crestron technology, the smart home or the Crestron home integrates with the likes of Samsung or Alexa, Google Assistant, LG, Sony. So the who's and who's out there, a lot of them in fact put Crestron chipsets into their products. So we have products from, say, Panasonic, which puts Crestron chip inside their product itself. So Crestron as an integration partner definitely adds value. There was panelists which were talking about there are cases where there are products which are not integratable. With Crestron, I can tell you that chances of not integration is very minimal. Typically, we have the maximum integration partners out there, which we work very closely with. And again, this was raked up in the topics earlier. It is the most secure device. We provide enterprise-grade security into our home automation-based product. So your home is no less than an enterprise for us. So once you put in a Crestron, we are sure that no one can hack into it. No one will be able to crack into it, because this is the same system which probably sits in the Bank of America or a JP Morgan or a Morgan Stanley, which is very highly critical, and security is at topmost priority. And how do we make the products reliable? We actually simulate a lot of things. We simulate product life cycle where we put in test wherein you actually, what is going to happen to your product in the next 10 years is simulated in 10 days. So we run 10,000 power cycles on our product. We actually crack our product open. We burn them. We actually put them into heat testing, RF testing, so that when the product is actually deployed in the field, not only this, we, in fact, even in the logistic portion, when the packages and the cartons are made, the cartons are also exposed to 40 degrees Celsius and minus 30 degrees Celsius. So even if they're shipping out, when it is logistically shipping out, there's no problem which, like, you receive a Crestron touch panel which is broken or a Crestron processor which is not working. That's not the case with Crestron. So everything in terms of QE, logistics wise, even in the engineering lab, everything is tested to a very great extent. And this is actually a live photo or a photo from our lab itself. To completely monitor, manage, control all your homes, no matter where you are, we have the mycrestron.com. So mycrestron.com is nothing but as a system integrator partner, if you have thousands of sites deployed, it is the only place where you need to be. Just open this mycrestron.com and you'll see all your 1,000 sites, the location, where they are working, not working, what is the problem, if they are working well. If you want to troubleshoot, you can actually do everything using a single dashboard called as mycrestron.com. And of course, you don't want to put in a product into your home which is not backed up with local support and global support. With Crestron, we have global presence but local support. We are the biggest in terms of manpower, in terms of home automation. We have the maximum people in India. So give you 24/7 support and more than 350 engineers just working on the Crestron home platform to back you up when you deploy it in your home with any kind of questions. So on that note, the times is also up. So any questions, any inputs? So thank you.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Farhan. Mr. Farhan, we strongly believe that if there are no questions, right, the segment was so crystal clear that there is no scope of any questions. So big round of applause for Mr. Farhan. And I would request Architect Pranav Desai, the Honorable Joint Secretary, ID Mumbai, to kindly come on up. Sir, Mr. Architect Pranav, we would request you to kindly present Mr. Farhan a token of our appreciation.